Chapter 1, Introduction. Background. Italy, a nation known for its rich history and cultural heritage, has also been a hotbed of political intrigue and covert operations. Among the clandestine endeavors that have shaped the country's destiny, a sinister alliance between the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, the Mafia, and the far right has left an indelible mark on Italy's political landscape. This video delves into the intricate web of connections, motives, and consequences associated with this alliance, unearthing the dark underbelly of power manipulation. Objective. The primary objective of this article is to provide an in-depth exploration of the alliance between the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right in Italy, with a focus on their collaborative efforts to manipulate and influence the country's political affairs. By analyzing historical events, covert operations, and their impact on Italian society, we aim to shed light on this complex nexus and its long-lasting consequences. Chapter 2, The CIA's Covert Operations, a Historical Overview. Formation and early years of the CIA. This section provides a brief historical background on the establishment of the CIA and its transformation into a powerful intelligence agency with a global reach. Covert operations in Italy. Examining specific covert operations conducted by the CIA in Italy. This subchapter delves into their objectives, methods, and key players involved. It explores instances of intervention in Italian politics, media, and economy. Motives behind CIA involvement. Analyzing the motivations behind the CIA's interventions in Italy. This section explores Cold War dynamics, geopolitical considerations, and the perceived threat of communism. Chapter 3, The Mafia's Rise to Power in Italy. Historical context. This section provides a historical overview of the emergence and growth of the Mafia in Italy, tracing its roots back to the late 19th century. It explores the societal, economic, and political factors that allowed organized crime to flourish in certain regions of Italy. Mafia structure and operations. Examining the structure and operations of the Mafia, this subchapter delves into its hierarchical nature, codes of conduct, and methods of operation. It sheds light on the Mafia's control over various illicit activities, such as drug trafficking, extortion, and money laundering. Collaboration with the CIA. This section investigates the covert collaboration between the CIA and the Mafia, highlighting instances where their interests aligned and mutual benefits were derived. It explores the CIA's utilization of Mafia connections for intelligence gathering and covert operations. Chapter 4, The Emergence of the Far Right in Italy. Rise of far-right movements. This section explores the rise of far-right movements in Italy, tracing their origins to the aftermath of World War II. It examines key figures, ideologies, and events that contributed to the growth of the far-right political spectrum in Italy. Political climate and factors fueling far-right growth. Analyzing the political climate in Italy during the post-war period. This subchapter delves into the social and economic factors that fueled the popularity of far-right ideologies. It explores themes of nationalism, anti-communism, and the exploitation of social grievances. Connections with the CIA and the Mafia. Examining the connections between the far-right groups in Italy, the CIA, and the Mafia. This section uncovers instances of collaboration, financial support, and ideological alignment. It sheds light on the role of these alliances in shaping the far-right's political agenda and actions. Chapter 5, The Nexus Revealed. CIA-Mafia Far-Right Collaborations. Shared interests and mutual benefits. This section explores the shared interests and mutual benefits that drove the alliance between the CIA, the Mafia, and the far-right groups in Italy. It examines the strategic advantages each party gained through this collaboration, such as political influence, economic control, and intelligence gathering. Manipulating elections and political destabilization. Analyzing specific instances of election manipulation and political destabilization. This subchapter uncovers the tactics employed by the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right to exert control over Italian politics. It investigates the manipulation of electoral processes, discrediting of political opponents, and the creation of a climate of fear. Economic control and influence. Examining the economic aspects of the alliance. This section delves into how the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right groups sought to control and influence Italy's economy. It explores their involvement in illicit activities, such as drug trafficking and money laundering, as well as their influence over legitimate businesses. Chapter 6, Case Studies, Notorious Instances of Manipulation. Italian Elections of 1948. This section provides a detailed analysis of the 1948 Italian elections, often regarded as a critical turning point in Italy's political history. It examines the CIA's covert efforts to prevent the Communist Party from gaining power and the role of the Mafia in supporting these operations. Operation Gladio. The secret stay-behind army. Investigating Operation Gladio, a secret NATO-sponsored paramilitary network. This subchapter explores its connections to the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right. It reveals the network's involvement in clandestine operations, state-sponsored terrorism, and its impact on Italy's political landscape. Connections to terrorism and state-sponsored violence. This section delves into the nexus between the CIA, the Mafia, the far right, and acts of terrorism and state-sponsored violence. It examines specific instances where this alliance utilized terrorism as a means to achieve political objectives and maintain control. Chapter 7. Uncovering the Truth, Investigations and Revelations. Government inquiries and congressional hearings. This section explores the various government inquiries, congressional hearings, and official investigations that have shed light on the alliance between the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right in Italy. It examines the efforts made to uncover the truth behind these covert operations and expose those responsible. Whistleblowers and insider testimonies. Analyzing the role of whistleblowers and insider testimonies. This subchapter highlights individuals who have come forward with valuable information about the CIA Mafia far-right alliance. It examines their revelations, the challenges they faced, and the impact of their disclosures. Document leaks and declassifications. Examining the significance of document leaks and declassifications. This section investigates how the release of classified information has contributed to our understanding of the alliance's activities. It discusses notable document leaks and their implications for accountability and transparency. Chapter 8. Societal Impact and Consequences. Erosion of democracy and public trust. This section explores the societal impact of the CIA Mafia far-right alliance on Italy's democracy and public trust. It examines how the manipulation of political processes, the infiltration of institutions, and the erosion of trust have undermined democratic values and institutions. Criminal empowerment and destabilization. Analyzing the consequences of the alliance. This subchapter delves into the criminal empowerment and destabilization caused by the collaboration between the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right. It examines the long-term effects on law enforcement, justice systems, and societal cohesion. Implications for Italian society and beyond. Examining the broader implications of this alliance. This section explores how the manipulation of Italy's political landscape by external and domestic actors has shaped the country's social fabric, public discourse, and national identity. It also discusses potential lessons and warnings for other nations. Chapter 9. Repercussions and Justice. Legal proceedings and convictions. This section investigates the legal proceedings and convictions that have emerged as a result of uncovering the alliance between the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right. It examines notable trials, prosecutions, and accountability measures taken to address the crimes committed by individuals involved in this nexus. Compensation and reparations. Analyzing the issue of compensation and reparations. This subchapter explores the efforts made to provide justice and restitution to the victims of the CIA Mafia far-right alliance. It discusses the challenges associated with identifying and compensating those affected by the covert operations. Lessons learned for the future. Reflecting on the lessons learned from the alliance between the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right in Italy. This section explores the importance of transparency, accountability, and safeguarding democratic processes. It discusses the measures that can be taken to prevent similar manipulations in the future. Chapter 10. Conclusion. Recapitulation of key findings. This section provides a summary of the key findings and insights discussed throughout the article. It revisits the alliance between the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right, highlighting its impact on Italy's political landscape and society. Call for transparency and accountability. Emphasizing the need for transparency and accountability. This subchapter calls for continued investigations, declassifications, and public awareness to ensure that such alliances are exposed and prevented in the future. It stresses the importance of upholding democratic values and safeguarding against covert manipulations. Importance of vigilance in safeguarding democracy. Concluding the article, this section highlights the importance of vigilance in safeguarding democracy. It encourages individuals, civil society organizations, and governments to remain vigilant against attempts to manipulate political processes and institutions. It emphasizes the need for a robust and transparent democratic system that protects the rights and interests of the people. By unraveling the hidden power nexus between the CIA, the Mafia, and the far right in Italy, this article aims to shed light on the disturbing history of manipulation and interference in Italian politics. It underscores the far-reaching consequences of such alliances, including the erosion of democracy, criminal empowerment, and societal destabilization. It also emphasizes the importance of truth-seeking, justice, and lessons learned to prevent similar abuses of power in the future. As Italy continues to grapple with the repercussions of the CIA Mafia far-right alliance, it is crucial to acknowledge the past, hold accountable those responsible, and strive for a more transparent and democratic future. Only by confronting and learning from the mistakes of the past can societies build resilient and inclusive systems that protect the fundamental principles of democracy, justice, and the rule of law.